Hello guys. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Richard and I'm currently a computer science student in the 6th semester, I guess. So currently I had a lot of junior that is struggling with their programming course because one of the main reasons is that they do not have a strong concept of the algorithm and programming language. So I am trying to at least help you guys learning what is algorithm and programming is. So algorithm basically is um algorithm is basically your logic, but you break it down step by step. So for example, let's say, how do you open your laptop? How do you open, at least how do you open Notepad++, okay? So first, you need to get your laptop out from the back, right? And then you turn on your laptop and then you search by Windows plus R and type Notepad++, and then you use Notepad++. Basically, algorithm is something like this. So you break your logic step by step. And to be honest, there are lots of ways. So algorithm is your ways to explain to the machine how to do things. And there are a lot of things that I'm going to help you to explain to another programmer, or mainly to another programmer, which is pseudocode and flowchart. So when you break algorithm, you are going to break it into pseudocode and flowchart. Pseudocode is basically something like this. So your algorithm, but you make it more like codable version. So it is, well, you cannot explain pseudocode in this kind of example, but maybe we are going to explain it a little bit later. And flowchart is, well, a flowchart to explain your logic for some things, but we are not going to talk about flowchart. You can search it online on Google or something, okay? So this is algorithm, and then in this course that I am trying to build, we are going to use C language. Why? Because C language C is kind of low level language. So you still have a lot of the concept. Like for example, you still have pointers, which I believe Python don't have. So, and then you have malloc to create memory allocations, which is something abstract, truly abstract for me. You will mainly discuss malloc in data structure. So the point is that why I use C language instead of Python. If you want to learn complete concept, then use C, because it still has a lot of the concepts. Well, in Python, the language is so simple and easy that there are no more concepts. No, you don't have the basic concepts of the programming itself that you don't have. basic concept itself. So what I mean is that Python don't have pointer, Python don't have malloc, and I believe it don't have malloc, but I may be wrong because I mainly use Python last semester when I was into AI specialization, which I'm not very good at. So basically, if you want to learn complete, then use C. But if you want to learn fast, then use Python. But in this, I'm going to use C for you guys. So we have discussed what is algorithm, what is C language, and oh yeah, C language didn't support object-oriented programming. So we are going to mainly discuss about functional programming, I believe it is called, or procedural, I believe. So, but if you want to use object-oriented programming for kind of C, then you can use C++. This is for OOP. But let's discuss it a little bit later, okay? Like in the future. So right now we are going to discuss about 5 data types. So in programming, we have 5 data types that are around. So 5 data types. Those include the most common one is actually in the these 5 are all common, but first one is integer. This is some kind of numbers, but it didn't have any decimal, so like minus 237, etc., etc. It's a long kind of number. It has it's bound, and it is until like, well, let's say 237. So integer didn't support any decimal. That's what I'm trying to say. And then you have float, which support decimals like min 227 and 0.67 until I don't know until what kind of number. Basically, all of the data types have its own bounds. Like, let's search integer bound in C. Actually, I mean range. Integer range, it is from this number until this number, okay? So it has its own range, and then float has its own range too. I didn't know until what kind of number, but basically it supports decimal number. And then you have char, which is only a character, so like A or Z, like that. Z, I mean, like Z or something. And then you have string, which is string is a sentence. String is for sentence, like I want to be a C programmer. This is string. So the difference between char and string is that char only supports one character, like, well, it's only can be filled with only one character. And in string, you can fill it with a lot of sentence. That's what I'm trying to say. And then you have the last data type is Boolean, which is true or false. So, well, yes, that is basically what we are talking about in these episodes. In the next episodes, I'm going to try to explain to you guys about basic input and output, and we are going to include it in also include array. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.